Attempt to make another video including a windbreak out in the fields and all that went both because I couldn't control my camera properly, and I just make this one again. I want to make it quite clear that the idea of using the sculling gate for general calving is not on for me. I never do it. The only time I use that sculling gate is if there's an emergency, if the cow has to be restrained and you have to get your hand on the go and see how the head is and see how everything is. I normally don't do that. Generally, if there's a problem, your calf will not come, so you have to put her in. But it's nice to have this for the vet, or for yourself, or for anything, a way of restraining the animal. And what I'm trying to say is that in my humble experience, this design, you see this design here, is the best design. Why? You can open these gates, so you can have your cow there, and your calf can get over and he can suck, and you can give her a bit of a strig, keep well up against the cow, push her head against the cow's belly as it were, so you can't get a kick, and strig out the teats, and then bring him over, and it'll be hard, he'll resist you. You squirt a drop of milk into his mouth and you might get him sucking. You usually will, and here you have him now getting the mother's milk immediately. It is a myth, and I stand over this, to think that every heifer and every cow will let the new calf suck. She certainly won't do it for the first day. Some of them will, but not all. It's also a myth to think that the calf has enough energy to keep looking for a suck when he doesn't. And I lost a calf, you're talking about a calf in 250, by assuming that he'd get a suck outside, and he never got the suck. So that's my experience. You're better with them in. If they're outside, keep an eye. And even if they're outside, you want to see, are they getting a suck? If they're not getting a suck, you need to try and get them in, put them in a sheep box or something, and take the cow up and get them in here. Once you have them in here, you can do all the things to do with the calf. You can let him get a suck. She can't kick him much. She has to stand. You can give her a little bit of meal. Here, there's a bucket. You no harm to have one of those milking churns. They're a great asset around a farm because you can seal them. You can bring water in that. I have that there to give a nice clean drink to a cow that had recently calved when the water was being worked at here. So they're grand. I bought that for 30 euros at the variety marts. And that's why I like to see those variety marts going well, because they're good for the leg of that kind of thing. I mean, that could cost you, I don't know, somebody might tell me, they could be 150. You can buy it for 30, and it's going to waste anyway. Best of good stainless steel. And it does for water, it do for holding milk, do for several things. Now, the thing about it is that that's the point I'm making. If you have a stationary crush, you can't do that. Now, the other thing is the cesarean section. If the vet's doing a cesarean section, he wants her restrained. She has to be either tied with a halter or held somewhere. He can't just be working on her in the middle of the shed and no restraint. So he'll have to operate for the cesarean, either by the right. Some vets like it to do it by the left. And you see, this design here lets you get her in the wrong way. So you can put her into the crush the other way around. Do you get me point? Put her in the other way around. And if God spares me my health, this is the gate on the other side. Now, the beast is meant to go up there. But you could make a very simple gate with the welder and all, that it'll allow her to be, her head to be caught there and restrained for a cesarean section. There's also times you might want the beast in reverse. So there's a lovely project for me to think out now, that you can have her in either way. A strainer from either side, and something to be considered. Or indeed, if some of the engineering firms like Condon or some of them could come up with a gate to suit. I like this design of a crush. I do. I like this design. Very happy picked it. I like getting a lot of advice, good and bad. Needless to say, you need Val's invention. This is the right pin. It can't go down through the slats. So that's my point. I hope that's good enough to understand. You can do what you wish, it's up to you, but why not design her right? I have now put about 250 calves or 245 through this here, and it's worked great, and the vet worked it great, and everything worked great. I had only one section in all that time, but still it's nice to have the facility when you do. If your chute is already a different design, go ahead, that's all right. But if you're doing anything new, you could put up one of these in a shed So you get two of them yolks there, L-shaped things, and they never move either because they're anchored to the wall with a bolt through the wall. Will that do you folks on 5 or 6 minutes? Is there anything else now I'm forgetting? No, I think that's it. So that's myself there. That's myself there. And the next big job now is to tidy it up, tidy up the shed, and to see what's happening with the plastic, getting the plastic away to the Irish Farm Plastic people. They are doing a great job. I hope that works. I hope all those ways of using that plastic is facilitated. I'd be very much in favour of giving them planning permission or whatever has to be done, because it's a very, very important service. So the good old Fiat 1990, she's a 93 model. She served me well. I'm after bringing in a load of bales and doing a load of work with her, and maybe I should have a new one, maybe not, but I did the tank. There's a first tank up here, and there's the second tank, and you saw I put it online how I did it, how I made the connection. What happened was the outlet for the oil on the bottom got damaged, and I pulled off the pipe. It already was hit with something maybe years ago, and I pulled off the pipe too severe without opening the Jubilee clip. You must take out the Jubilee clip completely, and you must spill boiling water on the plastic pipe and then pull it off, because if you leave the plastic pipe hardening, you can damage the tank. So then I did a job on it, and you see there's no leak there. There's no leak. There is leak here. That's from the hydraulic. That has to get further attention. But you can get over that there by just leaving down your lift overnight. But there's no leak from the main job I did. Remember, I silver soldered using stainless steel. I put a threaded 10mm yoke up into the tank and got it right, and there's a cleaning facility that I can clean it out again or poke it out without actually taking off the tank. So that has worked fairly well, and big time, of course, a big interest there was to see how the silver soldering would work, and I mastered that art, and that's why I'm trying to share it with you as best I could. So 83 bales so far this year. This is only a couple of days baled. Great job. Put the year on. And this is last year's. There's last year's. Always mark them with Tipex or some type of a marker. You buy it in the shop, and always check them to see if there are any wee holes, and put a wee bit of tape on them if there is. I have both. Now I just happen to see there. I mightn't be able to get in. Do you see that bale there? See the wee brown mark? Now that may have got a tip yesterday or whatever, but always be alert for that. Just tip in or get a ladder and get in and put a bit of tape on that. You don't want mushrooms growing out of the side of it. Look after your silage. You are better with 100 bales all protected than 150 and them all rotten or half rotten. Now, having said that, they don't rot completely where the hole is. They don't rot the whole bale. They rot where the hole is usually. But if they're very badly holed, your bale is a kind of gone. When you go to take it out, you won't have all the silage there. A lot of it will be rotten. So you can see here it's quite windy. On today's date, by the way, is the 23rd of June. It's quite windy, and the trees are ruffled. So here is a good old stout hedge. I drained that with the digger and put pipes in, and the growth grew back. It's a combination of poultry and wild rose and all that, but a big old thick hedge there. And you see that is running roughly east-west, and the wind is coming from the north-east, from Donegal. And when you turn the other way, you see the cattle are all chilling out. And they're thriving when they're like that. Now, this red cow is ruminating. See the little calf beside her. Her calf, her mother's a white calf. Her calf's the little red fella down there. Do you see him hiding down there? Now, she's ruminating. She has eaten grass. She'll bring that up from her first stomach. You'll sometimes see it in the throat, and then she'll chew it again. So they don't chew it properly the first time. They chew it again. Now watch her chest, watch her throat. Now, I hope you've seen that. That's what she does, and they do that then, and then it goes on down into the other stomach, and there's quite a complex enzyme type process that converts the grass into food. and ultimately into milk and milk, dairy products, and food for the calf, and beef, of course, hides, soap, everything, you name it, she'll provide it. Now, the thing about it is, what I'm saying to you is, however, this thing about the shelter. You see the shelter? See the shelter there? That is very important. They pick that spot because of shelter. Now, generally speaking, in the summertime, cattle like to lie out and ruminate on high ground. They like to calve on low ground. So a bit of shelter and a bit of trees, I don't think they do any harm. It creates a very natural environment in which they'll thrive. And there's a farm in the background there. The man that used to farm up there lived to be nearly 100, and but he was a great cattleman, particularly buying cattle in the marts and fattening the bullocks. And he always said a quiet place is the best, that if there's noise, they don't thrive as well. And he'd be observing over a lifetime. So if you take it here, it's relatively peaceful, except for those cursed windmills. But they're a bit away for now anyway. The cattle have no option only to be on this field, some of these fields. Now, the thing is, if you had someone cutting silage next door, just across the ditch here, there, the cattle would be all up. They're curious animals. If you had road traffic going through, they're curious animals. If you had big lorries or people going by talking, they get up to check it. And that's the point. Where you have no disturbance, I mean, they know me, they don't pay any heed to me at all. But a bit like the government. But the thing about it is that where they can be contented and not much noise, it helps them thrive, helps them put on weight. And having a bit of shelter from the wind, which is another disturbance, and the rain always helps. So I would recommend that you build a wee bit of shelter into your plans. Farm organisations should impress on their meetings with government and departments and that this is good for the environment too, because there's birds in them hedges and everything. So you have to have a balance between grazing land and shrub, but it will grow out on you itself. Now, so it's important just to keep the bit of shelter, if you have it, and try and design a bit of your ground high up that there's a bit of shelter on some of it and some of it low down. Don't just pull everything out and leave the cattle with nothing, only bare to lie down, because you might not get the same level of thriving. You want your cattle to thrive. You're fattening a few bullocks, you want them to thrive. You don't want, they're not the audience of a show. So make that all possible into your plans. Folks, we'll see you back for something else. Comment underneath. Definitely here, I'm not the best farmer at all, but still in all, I have a good lot of nice cattle. And nothing annoys me as much as to see a job that's well done, well concreted, well finished, but badly designed. You're better have it well designed than and poorly finished, because you can always improve. But if it's badly designed, you can't improve. Right, folks, comment underneath. That's all probably you'll get from me today, unless maybe later on I'll do something on all the news that's going on. Goodbye, thank you.